Howdy, y'all. It's Jeff B. Davis here, and it is my honor and duty to present to you another round of Dr. Phil's game lessons. Dr. Phil, he's about to teach you some games. He'll Dr. Phil your mind with knowledge. He'll Dr. Phil your heart with pain. Dr. Phil is the man down at Miami U. Dr. Phil's about to teach some games to you.
Hi everyone, welcome to class for today. I'm going to start things off with something that I did on accident the other day, but that I really enjoyed. So my wife grew up in Pittsburgh, so she's a big Mr. Rogers fan. Also, I grew up with Mr. Rogers. But if you have seen Mr. Rogers, or if you've seen the movie about him, you know that he started each episode by changing out of his work clothes into his casual clothes. And so I'm actually going to go very, very, very short scale in the opposite direction. So these are my normal out in the world glasses. I'm going to take those off. I'm going to look at the camera and be all blurry-eyed for a second. And then these are my Gunner Optics computer glasses. So you know it's time for business. Won't you be my neighbor? All right. One of the things that I like to do just to kind of help out during the first week or so is do a little bit of show and tell with the things that are around my office. It doesn't take a lot for people to kind of get a sense of who I am from looking at the things that are here, but for those of you who may not have guessed, I'm an action figure guy. Today I'm going to show you my Marvel Legends Thing action figure. He sits currently right underneath the camera. So when I'm looking to the camera to check in with all of you, I'm actually kind of looking at Thing. So when I was a kid, the Thing was like, if you weren't into the Hulk, you were into the Thing. So I don't know that he's nearly as popular now, but I always thought he was cool because he's made of rocks. Also, I won't go off color, but if you've seen the Kevin Smith movie Mallrats, one of my favorite jokes involves the Thing. So bonus points for anyone who can email me with the line that I'm talking about. Okay, today we are going to follow up from our first meeting, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the syllabus and get you prepared for your first week of assignments. So to show you the syllabus, I'm going to switch over and put Canvas on the screen. All right, so I'm assuming that you got this far already on your own. If not, I don't know how you'd be watching this video, but just in case you didn't, this is the My Miami main page. You want to click on Canvas there. You probably also know quicker ways you can just log directly into Canvas. But if you look up here, you will see, here's our class. And so when you come in, this is the launch page. There's the link from the Zoom meeting we already had this week. There's some other announcements there. If you scroll down, there's a page that kind of serves as a mini syllabus. And Canvas is still loading really slow, but there are images here. I didn't want you to think that I just put the text on the page oddly. If you look over here, this is just a quick summary of what class is about. We talked through that in class last meeting, so I won't labor that too much. This will take you to the modules. That's kind of the brains of the class, so to speak. That's where all the action happens, and we'll go there in a sec. Contact information for me, pretty much any way you would need to contact me, you could find right here, including stuff that you probably will never want to use. I think I finally took my Skype off of there, but if you want to find me on Skype for some reason, it's also just Phil Alexander. So link to the syllabus here, I'll have the link to the syllabus there. There's also a link to the syllabus over here, so there's a lot of syllabus redundancy, but it's an important document. And this bottom part is some helpful links, so if there's stuff you need, you can grab some help down there. So the first thing I want to do is pop up the syllabus, and your homework, of course, was to read over this, so hopefully you've read it, but I'm going to give you just a quick overview so that you know what's going on. Contact information again. Look at this handsome fellow right here, yeah. In 2 windows at once. Nice. I look really red, by the way. I don't know what's going on with that. I may need to fix my lighting. So this is, again, just a summary of the class. These are the things you need. And again, Canvas is just awful right now. There are images for headers here. But the things you'll need for class, you'll need access to Adobe Creative Cloud. You can find that however you need to find that. If you have trouble dealing with it, let me know and I'll help you figure it out. There's a whole group of assignments that are on the module page. I'll show you that in a second. These are the learning outcomes for the class. The basics of this class is kind of If you don't know esports, here's how esports work. Or if you're really big on one particular game, here's a kind of a flesh out of the whole system. One of the things that I want to warn you of is if you know a lot about esports, parts of this class may unfortunately be a little boring. And in that case, I'll want you to kind of bring your own unique take to things. But those of you who don't know esports at all, don't feel bad. We're not going to start from a really insider position or anything like that. We're going to cover things from the very basics all the way out. Grading policies are here. This is basically your overview of assignments. Every week there'll be something to play. Every week there'll be something to write. Those are worth 150 total points. Your class participation is worth 200 points. Then you have a game genre analysis, which I will explain more to you probably next week. I don't want to overload you in the first week. You'll also do an influencer report, which is where you'll look at an online influencer or streamer. You will do an event report, where you will observe an event. You'll do a paper about diversity in esports, which is 100 points, and then your final project, which is the large major project for class, is 400. So the total there is 1,000 points. You can check at any time in the gradebook to see where you are relative to where we are sitting at that moment. It'll give you your up-to-date percentage. But if you want to try to figure, like if you want to predict where you are, all you have to do is total up your points and then take the 0 off and you have your percentage. I mean, simple math, you probably figured that out on your own. There's a definition of letter grades here. They're the same letter grades that everyone at the university uses, so you're probably very used to those. Grading criteria are on the individual assignments. We'll talk through those if there are ever any questions, but hopefully they're pretty clear. I tried to gamify them a little bit so that it's hitting goals and understanding that you've hit those goals. The late work policy for this class is pretty simple. We're going to work on things that build from week to week to week to week. So if you aren't keeping up with things, it's going to cause you trouble really quick. You're going to want to try to stay on top of it. If you don't talk to me and something is late, I will not accept it. But if something comes up and you need to figure something out ahead of time, or if there's an absolute emergency and you talk to me, we'll make arrangements. But generally speaking, if we haven't talked about it, late work is unacceptable. Backup policy here, this is just kind of a remember that it's 2020. You have access to a huge Google Drive through the university. You can get external memory. Like this is 4 terabytes that I bought for like 80 bucks. It's easy to back up your data, so make sure that you do. If you lose something, it's just gone and nothing we can do will save it. And if you lose a project before I've seen it, I can't grade you if I didn't see what you did. So just be careful and back stuff up. There's a note in here about not using Pages, but no one's done that in forever. I just keep it there because Pages really irks me. If you have a Mac and you decide to use Pages for some reason, make sure you don't save it as a Pages file. All right, there's a section here on academic behavior I want you to read and one on academic honesty, but I'm going to sum them up very, very simply. You're an adult, you're in college, you know how to be an adult. And class is going to be fun. I don't want you to think I'm saying, oh, adult, serious business. But I expect you to behave like an adult. And as long as you do, things will be fine. If you don't, it explains to you in here what will happen if I have to intervene. And then academic honesty is just, don't cheat. It's simple. If you don't cheat, you won't get in any trouble for cheating. So. All right, under student support, there are a number of services that you could get help from at the university. Some of these are a little different than the way they're worded here because of COVID and what's happening on the university now. But if you contact any of these numbers or email addresses and you need help, they will get you in touch with the people you need to talk to and figure out how to get you some help. The biggest thing to know, at least for now, is that the things that happen in King Library, the hours are dramatically different than what they normally are. When classes are in session, King Library is usually open 24/7, but they have limited hours right now because not everyone is on campus. So just make sure you check the library website, which you can access right there, to see what their current hours are if you're going to come in to use the library for anything. All right, the COVID-19 stuff, if you have other classes, you might want to read over it. I just left it here so that if any of you need to know what the official policies are, you'll have them. Since our class is entirely online, none of that should apply to us. But I do want to talk to you about the class video stuff. And we talked a little bit about this the first class, but I just want to reiterate to you. I will be broadcasting on Twitch. The stuff that I broadcast on Twitch is just me. As you saw in our first class meeting, I simulcast myself into the Zoom. So hopefully that felt relatively seamless for all of you and you were able to follow along. The reason we're doing it that way is the things you stay in Zoom will stay in Zoom, and there'll be a Zoom archive of class videos that you can watch where you can see your classmates. There will also be a Twitch archive, which will just be me. And it looks like at times I'm talking to myself, but that's fine. The reason for that is that we don't want to put your likeness out there in public without your permission, and we don't want to create any undue hardship for anyone. So if you would like to be on the Twitch stream with me, all you have to do is talk to me about it. We can figure out a way. But the idea is that my Twitch stuff is going to everyone. So anybody who wants to see it can see it, which means they can see me. But they won't see you or hear you. Now, if you ask a question and I answer you, they'll hear the answer that comes out of my mouth. So if there's anything you don't want the world to know, you might be careful there. But for the most part, this is just a thing to protect you. And it also means that we'll have two different archives of class. So if you really want to get crazy with it, you can play one in each window and watch class again from two completely different perspectives. That'll all be available here in Canvas. I'm about to start setting up the archive from the first class already. So that's it for the syllabus. The other major thing I want to talk through with you is if you go over here to modules, and I did this a little bit in class, but I'm going to remind you. The assignments are all up here. You can read over all these if you want to. I am going to hold off on getting you into anything serious from this until next week, and then we'll start to focus on, we'll start with the genre analysis, but we'll talk through what all of these assignments are going to mean. I don't want to do them all at once. It'll just be overwhelming. But if you look down here, you should introduce yourself. You should also answer this question about your first competitive game experience before we meet again. And then you have a reading to do here. And then the second reading, you just have to do in time to be ready for next time. So I also want you to play Hearthstone. Following this, there'll be a quick video where I show you how to set up Hearthstone for those of you who don't know. And then I'm also going to play for a little while and see how I do and laugh at me because there was a new expansion that just came out and I just opened all my packs last night. So I literally have no idea what I'm about to play. I'm going to find a new deck and dive in. So that hopefully will be fun to watch. I'm also going to stream it live, but none of you will see this video before I start streaming it live. So you'll just know that it was out there. So that's the big thing. By next class, have played Hearthstone, have done these responses, have read over this article here. And then the other thing, your week 1 assignment, which you have to complete along with playing Hearthstone, I have removed the raising the stakes reading because for some reason the electronic copy is not working. It appears that the site that holds it is under maintenance, and if it ends up that it's fine, once they get that fixed, I will put that link back in. If not, I don't want you to buy the book. It's a little aged now, actually. I love T.L. Taylor, but we don't necessarily need to read that book. The lecture notes right there, ironically, will be in that spot when you look at this. I am making that right now. So this video will be sitting there. It'll be kind of a weird moment where that warps in, but that will link you out to the article you need to read. And there's your discussion post. And then remember, of course, to play Hearthstone. So that's all I have for now. If you check out the other videos, there's a quick one to show you how to get Hearthstone set up. And then there will be a longer one of me playing Hearthstone. So if you have questions of any sort, let me know. Otherwise, make sure you read over the syllabus, make sure you're prepared, and I will see you on Wednesday.
He'll doctor fill your mind with knowledge. He'll doctor fill your heart with pain.